I hate both of you.
Oh, okay, we can start, right?
Yes, we can. Welcome to One Foot on the Ground.
This
This
is
is John.
Ashley.
Mother. And this is Johnny.
And today we are discussing toys.
1992.
Thank you so much because I forgot. Uh,
I can't tell you, when I was looking up this movie, I knew it was toys from 1992, but I was looking something about it up. And then I started getting results for a movie. Oh, what was it? Demonic Toys, also from 1992. And I
oh,
was like,
weird.
hello?
I didn't know about that. I know that there's a lot of confusion sometimes with the movie The Toy with Richard Pryor, I think.
Yeah.
When I used to work at a video shops, two different ones, people would always constantly confuse those two. And I was like, yeah, they're two different things. And I honestly, I've never seen The Toy, so I don't really know what that's about. But
Well, I know that Demonic Toys looks fantastic. It looks very much like a Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but
um,
in the version of toys.
oh, I see.
Like teddy bears with sharp teeth.
So did you write down a synopsis for this one?
I I did. I kind of
Uh,
kind of I wanted to shut up. Yeah, I did.
no, that's fine. I just wondered because I was going to have you do that if you wanted to,
Yeah.
just to tell the kids what this movie's about.
Oh, well, the movie is about the owner, an eccentric owner of a successful toy factory. I didn't write his name down. Zivo, right?
Sibo, yeah.
Yeah. Who is dying and leaving ownership to his military brother with hopes that his adult son, played by Robin Williams, will grow into the responsibility and take over it one day and like succeed his dead brother. But the brother, who hasn't had a sense of self worth since the Vietnam War, was that it? Like he never had like his
I
great war,
I think it was Vietnam that he
or
was
maybe
in.
Vietnam was the last war, and he hasn't
Yeah, there
like
hasn't been one since, and he's mad about it.
yeah. Yeah, he takes on the factory and he uh he gets a revelation to use the toys to create war toys and warfare for children, which then causes a civil war within the walls of the factory between him and his kin.
Yes. So that is, yeah, that's the basic go
Yeah, I
over.
didn't read what I wrote.
Okay. No, that is definitely what happens. Um,
Yeah, he destroys all the whimsy in the company.
Basically, yeah. He doesn't
Yeah.
like, and Robin Williams is Robin Williams. This is like a a prime example of Robin Williams in a movie.
Yeah, it's the same year as Aladdin with the same
Oh,
director as Good Morning Vietnam.
yes, and that's an interesting point, the Aladdin thing, because that was one of the things that I read about that was very interesting. Um, and I did not know this. I knew that Robin Williams had a problem with Disney because of Aladdin, but I didn't know that it had something to do with this movie, and I had no idea. So, because I knew that he had an issue with
Mhm.
Disney over Aladdin, and because of it, eventually down the line, to apologize to Robin Williams, they bought him a Picasso. And I was like, okay, I mean, if that's what you're doing. And that's why Robin Williams came back to do one of the sequels. I can't remember. I don't think he was in the second Aladdin. I think he was in the third. Like he came back for that one. Something like that. I mean, I really didn't care for the sequels as much as the original, but whatever. That's not the point of this podcast. That's a different episode. But basically, what happened was Robin Williams knew that both movies were coming out the same year. And he knew that Aladdin was going to be like a big, popular, huge deal. And he didn't want it to overshadow this film because Barry Levinson, the director, had been working on this film for like over 10 years and wanted to make this film so badly. And he was afraid that Aladdin was going to overshadow it. So he specifically asked Disney to not include him in the promotional stuff for the film. Like he didn't want the genie to be like a big deal promoted that he was going to be in that because he
Yeah.
wanted toys to have a fair shot. And basically Disney was like, yeah, fuck you. We're not doing that. You're a big deal. This is a big deal character. You're in the
Yeah.
trailers. Sorry.
Yeah, and Disney's like dollar signs.
Dollar signs, dollar
Yeah.
signs, dollar signs. And who cares if we screw over this poor guy that wanted to make this fabulous?
Yeah, we'll just
fantastic
buy him a
movie?
Picasso and smooth it over.
Well, not just him, but like it's like all the people that worked on toys. It is kind of a smack in the face that's what basically happens to you. Like your movie's going to be completely overshadowed by this blockbuster animated thing by a company that was like, I mean, Disney at that point was gold. Like you couldn't mess with it. Like after what was it, Little Mermaid, and then Beauty and the Beast, and then you got Aladdin. It's like, or wait a minute, was Aladdin second, and then Beauty and the Beast?
No,
No, I
Beauty and the
can't
Beast was
remember.
1990, wasn't it?
Was it 1990? Because Aladdin was 92, obviously. What was, yeah, because 89 was Little Mermaid. Maybe Beauty and the Beast was 1990. I feel like Aladdin was the third one.
1991. Apologies.
91, okay, and then 1992. Okay, so yeah. But, and that is kind of my biggest problem with this. Now, first of all, before I get into all that, have you seen this film up until now? Had you ever seen it
No.
before?
I thought I did, and the opening sequence, which by the way was long, and why was it there? But
Okay,
I
you need to calm down a
remember-
little bit there. and I have very specific reason to have
Oh,
beef with you over
I'm
that.
sure you do.
Oh, yes, I do. But keep going.
But like I wasn't thinking that while I was watching it. It was just as time went on, I was like, the fuck was that about? Like it came back up with like the employees. Was it the employees in the audience, but also children? But I was like, is this a Christmas movie? Maybe it's just Christmas time. But it released December 20th, so
Well, yeah.
both.
And Aladdin was also a holiday film, wasn't it? Because
Oh,
their features usually happen during the like November, December kind of areas. Because A Little Mermaid, I believe, came out around my birthday. Because I always joke about the fact that I went to go see that when Melissa was being born. Our friend Melissa was born exactly 10 years after me on the same day. So I always joke that I was watching Little Mermaid while she was being born. Maybe that's just the joke, though. Maybe it wasn't November. I don't know.
that might. No, it was November 25th.
For A Little Mermaid?
No, for Aladdin.
For
Damn it.
Aladdin? Okay, yeah. See?
Sorry.
See?
Little Mermaid. That's also the year I was born. I wasn't
What,
born in
89?
November though. You were born in November.
Yes. So, wait a minute. What were you saying? You were
What was I saying about?
Talking
Oh, about the opening
trash.
sequence. I remember seeing. I remember the opening sequence. I remember a few blips of the movie, and I think I've seen it on TV, and didn't stick with it. You know what I mean? Like either channel surfing or only watching parts of it, or whatever.
yeah.
Because Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
because I
so,
was
like-
curious about that because I didn't even think about that before we did it. I was like, I just have
Yeah.
this assumption that people see the movies that I watch.
And I don't know because I was like, oh, I've seen Toys. And I don't know what I thought I saw. Maybe it was the Richard Pryor one.
Well, so what I wanted to say about this movie in general is how much it angers me that nobody likes it. Because it wasn't very well received. Um,
No.
and I don't know why. And I mean, I know why, I think, but
You
and
can't put all the blame on Aladdin.
you can't put all the blame. No, you definitely can't put all the blame on Aladdin. But I would say that, and maybe it's the ending that kind of like snags a little bit. Like even watching it as many times as I have, I still have kind of issues with the end of the movie. But overall, it is a spectacular work of art, like start to finish. It is a beautiful film to watch. And the sets, I mean, I wrote this in my notes. The
Yeah,
sets,
almost like they had a $43 million budget.
I mean, good God, can you imagine how much it cost to do this movie? I couldn't
That
even
that
tell
was
you.
it.
How much was it?
The 43 million.
43 million.
Yeah, you
The
want to know their
designer,
gross?
Ferdinando Scarf. I wrote it down and I can't read my writing. Scarfatoni?
Uh-huh.
No, Scarfiati.
Right.
Yeah, Scarfiati. Fernando Scarfiati, Italian, obviously. He spent over a year on the sets, and he took up all the sound stages at Fox when he was doing this. And then, but that was like one of my biggest things. It's like he took over a year working on the sets for this film, and it's very obvious. But the thing that I think might have gone over people's heads is that fact. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's like not
it's not something that a lot of people would think about. It's
right.
just like, oh, that's a fun visual. But because it's so minimalist, sort of, that you wouldn't think in your head, oh, that would have been a super complicated thing to come up with or to do.
I was thinking that this whole movie. I was like, this movie had a big ass budget. like
Yeah.
like from the because there's like carousels that I don't know have toys sliding out of them
Mm-hmm.
that have iconic toys at the top of them, like the top, like a top, like a spinning top, like a dreidel,
Yeah.
you know, and like they. And I kept thinking, like, that's a massive. Where did that go? like, where
Who
did that
has
go
that?
after
Yeah.
that? Yeah, who had
Well,
it before?
I mean,
Who had it after? I thought the same thing for Xanadu, because Xanadu
oh,
had
yeah.
like these big old set
Big,
pieces, and
huge
I'm like,
set
why
pieces.
was that there? They probably took it from some other set. I don't think Xanadu created all those pieces, whereas
No.
this was
This
created for
was
the
created
film.
for the film. And it's not just that, because that's part of that interior situation that I was telling you. Like, he took up
Yeah.
all the sound stages, but then they also had the sets that were outdoors. And I mean, the fields alone, and those were real fields. Like, if you ever go back and watch this again at some point, just watch the fields in the
Oh,
background
they were
with the
beautiful.
wind blowing through them. It was spectacular. And I'm also very disappointed that this is not available in high definition, because it would be spectacular to see this in clarity. But those fields, where the frick did you find these fields? And then like that, their house, like,
Oh, how it
it's
just
just
like
a
popped
big
down.
block thing, and the thing folds open to show the front of the house. It is spectacular. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, to a lot of people, it's probably just like, whatever, like, it's a thing that just looks simple. But the complicated aspect of that simple thing is beyond. Like, just coming up with all these sets is beyond. And then to have them work the way that they did in the film. Do you know what I mean? Like, physically work, like physically, like, that thing had to open up. And it's
Yeah.
huge. It's massive. It's not like it's a cute little
Yeah, and it's
miniature, like,
all all practical.
It's all
right?
practical, all of it.
I'm
Like,
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure all of the movie is practical.
yeah, I don't think there's any, like, there was certainly no digital. No, I think there was one digital effect. I think it was at the end with the ball that opened up and then it like curled back under itself. I think that
Don't
was
even remember
digital.
that. What you just described, I was like in the Terminator when he
Yes,
drops
exactly.
down.
Oh, this actually does have a sound borrowed from the Terminator.
I noticed.
Yeah, Jason noticed too. He walked in. He's like, "Are you watching the Terminator?" I was like, no, it's like I'm watching toys.
Yeah, it was when they were playing video games.
Yeah.
It was the horror bit.
What else was there? I wanted to write down all these things. So, like I told you, it was over 10 years in development for the writing and development. It was supposed to be Barry Levinson's first film, but obviously that didn't happen. His first film ended up being Diner in 1983. But when Sherry Lansing took over as head of production at Fox in 1980, this was one of the first movies on her development list, like, or her development slate. She in 1980, like that's how long this thing was in development. So I'm just going by my notes here because I wrote a bunch and I wrote them in order, sort of. So the opening sequence
Yeah.
that you had such a problem with, that was Wendy and Lisa of Wendy and Lisa from the Revolution, Prince in the Revolution. And Wendy was the woman singing. And I fucking love that song. So I was perfectly content with that being the opening of the film. It is a beautiful song.
It was a beautiful sequence. I was just like, as time went on, I was like, oh, is that gonna come back up?
It did. It has a reprise.
It did, but I was still like, why?
I honestly also thought it was interesting to, I mean, there's so many things going on in this movie. Like, it's not two-dimensional. It looks two-dimensional for the most part, but it's not. It's very three-dimensional.
It's eccentric, like
it's very eccentric.
like the story.
Yeah, I mean, even the story, like, and I think for it being such a bizarre, surreal, I mean, this was obviously a film that was like meant to be a visual experience. It's not like it's not going to have a super complicated plot that's super interesting, or do you know what I mean? Like the writing of it, I mean, obviously they had to write it and it probably took them forever to come up with how to make this into a movie because it's such a bizarre thing to even do. Like, the idea of it is so strange, but for them to come up with something that made sense, it was like, well, good. Now film it. We've come up with it. Film it before anybody says no. That's kind of how it feels a little bit, but no, I was gonna say, like, there's a lot of, like, I liked the idea of them showing that set, like at the closing of the year, which was the song. And I just fucking love that song. And it was so beautiful to see Wendy. I was like, oh, Wendy. But the whole, like, there's that cityscape or whatever. And it also kind of throws back to like old films like, what was that movie? The King of Jazz, where it had like these beautiful miniature sets that these dancers were like walking through. So
and then there's children also stumbling through them, and then gifts are being parachuted down.
Yeah.
And toys are wound and walking around.
Well, and I think that was also like it was brought up later because that's basically where the end battle happened, was in that room.
Yeah, with the old toys.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and that's going to be the part that I'm always going to have a problem with at the end because it is a little bit. It's a little cheesy. Like
I really, there were a few things about the movie at the beginning that how do I put this? That I wasn't really hooked in for. But once that uncle just started being so ridiculous and he was like wearing his uniform that was like a pastel camouflage.
Oh my God, it was
Because he
fantastic.
couldn't give up the military and he couldn't handle living in his dad's shadow and his
And
dad
no
would
joke, no
light
joke.
up his 4 stars. Hilarious.
Excuse me. No joke. I want that camouflage. Like,
I thought it was
why
wonderful.
hasn't that caught on as a thing? Like for pride. Hello, can we have some military
Oh,
people
look at
for pride
that. Yeah.
wearing that? Fantastic. By the way, the actor playing the military guy is Michael Gambon, who everybody knows as Dumbledore. Well, the second Dumbledore. He took over when the previous one passed away. But he's also just a fantastic actor in general. I love him as an actor. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I've seen this so many times. He's the one character that I kind of never paid attention to until this particular viewing. And
Oh,
that's
really?
when I realized who the actor was. I was like, oh shit, it's him.
Yeah, I realized when I wrote down the synopsis, I talked about him and not Robin Williams.
Yeah. Well,
Like I
Robin,
clearly like was more invested in this guy
Robin,
who is losing his marbles
yeah.
than
Well, he was
whatever
interesting.
maturity or growth that Robin Williams was going
It's
through.
almost like I mean, even that is interesting. Like the fact that they kind of switched gears. Like Robin's character had to mature and be less silly, and the other guy just kept going backwards. Like he
Yeah,
kept
he
losing
was
his mind
spiraling out
and
of
he was
control.
spiraling, and he eventually became a juvenile asshole. So it's kind of funny that they switched roles basically throughout the thing. But
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Robin in this movie. I mean, Robin is gonna be Robin.
Yeah, he's
He's
always the same dude. And I didn't care for him in the movie.
I thought he
Like,
was. I mean, I don't know if it could have been anybody else doing this.
no, it could have been like
Who?
Neil Patrick Harris.
No. I mean, I think if you made it now, I think if you made I mean, who in the world would ever want to do this again after it failed so badly? But if you did do a
I think
remake
Joan
of this,
Cusack would be on board.
oh my God, Joan Cusack, she was perfect.
I loved
Perfect.
her. I absolutely loved her. And in the beginning, when like Robin Williams is putting her to bed in her big old like
The
duck
Swan,
coffin.
or yeah,
Yeah, it's probably a swan. But there were so many ducks in the movie.
yeah.
Like toy ducks that whatever.
It might have been a duck. I don't know. I think it was a swan. I don't know. Who
It
cares?
was probably definitely a swan.
It was
It
a
definitely had
bird
a long neck.
type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. When he was putting her to bed, and like they were talking about the meeting they had just had with their uncle, and it was like the first executive or board meeting or whatever, and he was talking about like making war toys,
Mm-hmm.
and Joan Cusack's character, whose name is like escaping me right now,
I can't remember.
it was like like Alstacia.
Oh, yeah, she did have a weird name, didn't she?
Yeah, not
It was like
Anastasia,
no.
but like I think it's Alstacia or Alstacia, something like that. Anyway,
Something.
she had said, but war toys, and I heard, because I wasn't watching this with captions, we're toys, and I was like, ooh, that's interesting. They are toys. And then like the movie went on and I was like, they're not toys. And I rewound it. I was like, damn it, they're talking about the war toys. But then there were hints that Joan wasn't human, and I like caught on to that quicker because I thought that she had
thought she said
proclaimed.
the right. We're toys, Robin.
Yeah,
Or
and I was
whatever
like,
your
ooh,
name is.
that's fun. But yeah,
His name
no,
was what?
she-
Leslie? Was his name Leslie?
Yeah, his name was Leslie.
Yeah.
Leslie Zevo.
Yeah.
But yeah, when they were like, I think LL Cool J was like, you haven't changed much or even at all.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And LL
Yeah.
Cool J. I mean, so many people in this freaking movie. I mean,
Mhm.
go back for a second. I'm looking at my notes again.
Go ahead.
So I got the Wendy and Lisa, which I put
Mhm.
3 hearts next to because I was so excited to talk about that, even though you hated it. Um,
I didn't say I hated it.
the
I just
next
wanted to know
thing
why.
was Tori Amos.
Oh, I forgot to mention that. I also thought that this was going to be a super dystopian thing because like we did the Christmas scene and then it went right into happy worker and it sounded super dystopian, but like a very lighthearted dystopian.
Well,
And
I
I was like ready for some like spooky, creepy, mundane, terrible like lives in the factory, but everyone was like super happy.
no,
And they were all
they loved it.
legitimately happy workers.
Legitimately
And I was like,
happy.
oh, I've been bamboozled.
Happy workers.
Yeah.
I love that song. And because, I mean, when this came out, like the time that it did was a perfect timing for Tori Amos to be a part of it. Because she was the hot thing at the moment. Um, I mean, even her being in Twister, she had a song in Twister too, Tallulah. But perfect. Or even like Great Expectations. She did stuff for that score too. But anyway, brilliant idea and brilliantly done. And then of course later when it has a reprise and it's like this crazy remix version of it with the hoo ha hoo ha hoo ha. It's fantastic. I love that so much. But Tori always, and I mean, I can't tell you how much I love that song. Um, love it. And then I was going to point out Robin was a good choice for this. And I also loved his deadpan humor in this movie. I think that's what you call it. Is that what you call it? Deadpan humor, where it's kind of like
Where you say
he's,
the thing and you don't react to it.
yeah, like he's
Yeah.
making jokes, but nobody's reacting to them. And nobody's, do you know what I mean? It's like, I love that. And he did it throughout the movie. I mean, obviously, there's points where him and Robin Wright are like laughing at each other, making jokes.
Yeah.
But early on, like you see, like it's when what were they testing? They were watching footage of him going around with these gigantic ears and like as like, is this funny or whatever? They're analyzing it and they're very very serious about analyzing this ridiculous footage of him walking around a store with these ears. And he says like they're talking about like, I don't know, are they too big? Or is this making fun of people with big ears? Or is it making fun of people with small heads? And Robin says, like, without any kind of joke, like nobody's laughing at all these things, but he says, well, I know the royal family's gonna have an issue with it either way. I was like, oh my god, that's fantastic. But like nobody laughs because it's serious analysis of what they're doing.
There was my favorite Robin Williams was when they were all right. His dad was worried about him not having like the maturity to or the know-how to run the company, but I don't recall seeing growth from Leslie Zevo, otherwise known as Robin Williams' character, because he just seemed like he got it the whole time. I don't know
Yeah.
what he needed other than, I don't know, Gwen Tyler or whoever, Robin Wright,
Robin
Robin
Wright,
Wright's
yeah.
character.
Well,
show up,
and
but
his
I
dad
didn't,
obviously was trying to set that up before he passed away because he
yeah,
hired her specifically.
also weird, like she's a person. Um,
Well, but I think he knew that they would get along or whatever.
yeah.
And even
I did have a
I
problem
love
with
it, I
the
love it.
relationship. I was like, oh,
What, you
stop.
didn't like it or you
I
what?
did not like the relationship.
Why?
But I did like because it felt like because it was just him being ridiculous and like not being funny and telling her to smile. And
Oh, did he? Oh, he did, didn't he?
yeah, but then he like tried to like cheer her up or whatever, but it didn't feel like, to me anyway, it didn't feel like Gwen was a full character. She was just a character that mirrored Robin Williams. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like I wasn't super invested in it. Like I was interested in to see where it goes, but then it didn't go like it didn't build up with her. Or
I
at least
guess it
not enough
I
for
guess it
me.
really didn't. I don't know. I mean, I more or less liked the observation of them more than I
Yeah.
enjoyed their actual connection, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah, I
like
need a
I could
lot.
care
I
less.
know.
I mean, I'm
I'm
just
pretty needy.
yay, they're together, whatever. But
Well, I
but it
I
was more
liked
the
I liked
observation
the
of like um Joan Cusack's character, like, oh, he finally found her. You know, it's like adorable
I
that she
thought
was
that
so
was
excited
cute and I
about
was
that.
looking forward to more.
And even the
Oh.
old dude that was the assistant guy that should have taken over the company. Um,
Yeah.
like him noticing
Yes.
that they got together. It was
The
cute. I liked that part of it.
the guy who lost his marbles, right?
Oh yeah, and Hook. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't think I
Yeah.
noticed that until this viewing either, that that guy was also in Hook, and I was like, oh look, they're together.
Yeah. But I did like the going back to like the deadpan humor. I did like the joke when we first see Robin White is a bit of a dork like Robin Williams when he makes a joke about her like her food and he said it was dolphin friendly and then she
Oh, she did the dolphin noise.
yeah, and then she carried on. I was like, that's hilarious. And I hope like I think what I was hoping for is that she was funnier than him. You know? Like that like she got it and then she like took it to the next level instead of
Yeah.
us relying on Robin Williams. Like I was expecting
I mean, but
maybe that's it. But
yeah, I mean that would have been good if they had been able to do that. But also,
yeah,
who could do that?
who has the time?
Who has? I mean, who? God, it's exhausting. Like I remember, Robin had that. I would say issue. I wouldn't say that it was a talent. I would say it was an issue. He had, because if you ever saw like behind the scenes stuff with him in any movie, he's constant. Like it's nonstop. It's not something that he could control very well. All his stuff that
Yeah.
he did, and a lot of the times, if you watch the behind the scenes about the making of his films, like there's so much of it that's improvised because he's just constantly going. He's
Yeah,
constantly doing stuff.
there's a
In
lot of
fact, a
extra
lot of
footage.
this was that, like the scene where he and Barry Levinson would just keep the camera rolling, and half the stuff that was in the movie was just stuff that was not part of the scene, but he just
Oh,
kept
you could
going, so
tell.
he just did it.
You could tell some scenes were like a little long,
They were
but
they could have been
not
cut, or
like
they could have
I don't
been
mean that in a bad way, but I mean like a little
no.
long where you can tell like there was improvisation like
Hmm.
happening and they were just holding it to see where it went.
Yeah,
But I want to say that
say it, say it.
she did the dolphin noise. She walked away like she was hot shit and she was and Robin Williams said to Marbles, right? I think it was Marbles. He
No, I think it was the
said,
lunch guy.
yeah, the lunch guy. How long do you think she can stay out of water?
Oh
And
yeah,
I thought that that was funny. I thought that that was a solid joke. Like she made a solid joke, or like she made a weird and then left, and I thought that that was a solid joke. And then he made a solid joke, and nobody reacted to it, and I was like, that was good.
yeah,
And then I was
yeah.
back in.
There was
Yeah.
just, I mean, there was a lot of this that was just well done. I don't know how to explain
Yeah.
that exactly, but like, because
Like
like I said,
the
with Robin
the
Williams being
vomit
so out of
scene.
control, I think that the Barry Levinson got the right balance out of everything to get the right performance out of him to make this work the way that it did. Because I think it did work in the end, for the most part. The whole
Yeah, I
thing. I
don't think it
mean,
was a bad movie.
no,
I enjoyed the movie.
yeah. Um, what was I gonna say though? I was gonna say, oh, I was gonna bring up when he did 1 hour photo. Just I know this is a little another movie, but it's kind of the same thing. Like if you ever watched 1 hour photo, you're like, wow, Robin Williams didn't make jokes. It wasn't funny. Like it wasn't a funny movie. And it was
Yeah,
weird.
he was being a
And
real creep.
then yeah, it was creepy as frick. But he also, that was the thing that I thought was interesting, was if you watch behind the scenes of him like making the film, it was horribly difficult for him to do that. Because if you watch the footage, like he'll do his take, like you see in the movie, like him being a serious person, like he's not Robin Williams. And then as soon as somebody says cut, he goes bonkers and starts doing all kinds of his Robin Williams things. Like he'll pick things up and make jokes and do this stuff.
Oh
It
my
was
goodness, that's got to be terrible for like
exhausting.
everyone else on set.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not disparaging Robin Williams at all. And I know he obviously had issues, obviously, now that, I mean, you know what I mean? But it's like, it must be exhausting to have to be around that for so, like, I mean, I can't even imagine what it was like for his family if you had to deal with that constantly. And then to not know that this is because of an underlying condition kind of thing. Like, it's just like, it's exhausting, and it must be exhausting. And clearly it was exhausting for him too. But anyway, but what else was I going to say? Oh, it was fun to see some of these other people in the movie too. I haven't brought them up yet, but Yardley Smith is in this movie, who plays Lisa Simpson on The Simpsons. But she's visually in the film as herself, or she's one of the what do you call it? She's in a lab coat. They're the ones discussing like the vomit and stuff.
I loved that vomit scene. I loved it.
Oh, with the room shrinking?
Yeah, with the room shrinking, with Robin Williams being serious, but he was also being like a boss. You know,
Yeah.
like he was like, add carrots to that one. This one, like, whatever. And I know it's supposed to be funny, but I was like, look at him. He can run the company. I don't understand.
Yeah.
But like the walls were closing in and everybody was like moving, and then until they're all like cramped up in the room, and then LL Cool J comes in and looks at all the fake vomit, and he looks disgusted, and he's like, you should really think about switching up your diet.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
So
But
haven't
that
even
had to
brought
have been
up-
so expensive. That room had to have been so expensive to move the walls piece by piece, like in
and
little
for it
squares.
to the puzzle of it to make it work the way that
Yeah.
it did, to get it
So
to
seamlessly.
yeah, like I mean, come on, that's fucking genius.
Yeah.
The set designer, come on. And he lost his Academy Award to something else, I can't remember, but he did not win. Super rude. Super rude. But I was also going to say I loved that idea too. So basically, because we were talking about like the general kind of taking over the factory, but basically what he was doing, he kept asking for more space. He's like, oh, we need more room for what I'm working on secretly. And
Yeah.
Robin Williams had no idea what he was working on, but he kept taking up space. So that's where the shrinking room comes in, or like the cafeteria got smaller and was like a kind of sort of
Yeah,
sad
it happened
scene.
again in the cafeteria, and it
Yeah.
was horrific.
Yeah.
Like people like responded, you know, like anyone would respond to a shrinking room.
Yeah, it was like a nightmare. Like, oh my god! Like, and it was filmed that way too. It was very traumatic. It was like, oh my god, like, this is awful.
Yeah.
But basically, yeah, he kept taking up all this space, and Robin Williams was trying to figure out what the hell was going on, and they figured. I mean, eventually, but LL Cool J, we haven't really brought up his character, which this is one of the few things I liked him in. I don't really care for him much. Sorry to say, I'm sorry to everybody that loves him, but I don't really care for LL Cool J.
Yeah, you should be sorry, because next week we're gonna watch Deepest Bluest. My hat is like a shark's fin. Not the movie Deep Blue Sea, just LL Cool J's music video.
No. I'm just going to veto that. No, we're not doing that.
Oh man, you only get one veto, and that means
Shut up. No, I didn't. Yeah, no. I don't really care for him. But anyway, I liked him in this movie. I thought he did very well. He wasn't it was good. It was a good part for him to do. He plays the general's son.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think did they explain
What?
anything about him? I can't remember if they explained his
The
character.
general's son? I know
Yeah.
that he was also part of the military, following in
Yeah.
his father's footsteps. He took things very seriously. He didn't like his food to touch.
Oh, I'm bringing that up. Don't worry about that. That's one of my favorite things ever. But but
And
yeah,
and he knew Leslie and Joan, Anastasia.
yeah, he knew them from previous, but I was just gonna say
Because they're
like
family.
he was brought in for security purposes. Like the one of the first meetings that they ever had with the general, and he was falling asleep during the meeting because he could care less about any of that shit. And then
Mhm.
he finally heard somebody say that there was like a bug in the company, like somebody was spying on them and taking their
Oh
ideas.
no, that another toy company released
A toy
something
that
that was similar, and they thought that it may have been leaked.
leaked. That was it. And he's like, a
Yeah.
leak, what? And he sat up and was like,
Yeah,
I'm
he's like
paying attention.
espionage.
This is finally something I can deal with. So he brought in his son to basically like do the security for the toy factory. And then of course he started taking over. And I mean, spoilers, he was making war toys. Now, this is the part where it should have gone in one direction and it kind of didn't. Because I thought it was genius that he would bring in children who play these video games so well, which is ahead of its time, because that became
Or
like a
right with
thing.
its time.
What?
Oh, I said or right with the time.
Right with the time. I mean, I feel like that was before I was aware that games like that existed. We played like Mario. Like I didn't I didn't know there was war games out there. But but I thought it was interesting. It was a super interesting concept that you would have like all these children who are very skilled at these games, and they're playing what they think is a game, but in reality, they're learning how to maneuver an actual location that could destroy like war, but like with toys basically. And I thought that was genius. I was like, that is a brilliant concept for a film at some point, to just focus on something like that where these children have no idea that they're actually destroying things. They're just playing a game.
That is Ender's Game.
Oh, is that a movie?
And a book, yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. I
yeah,
just thought
yeah,
it
yeah.
was,
No, the Ender's Game. They're like the kids are, in this giant simulation situation, and it turns out that they are, and it's like it's not a game. They're actually destroying people and places and things. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I've seen the movie. But like, yeah, real death is happening.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's good. Then there's
Spoiler.
a movie about it.
That's like a big old spoiler.
But my thing was for that to be the case, for his needing all the space and for him developing these war toys, I thought that that's what they were going to try to take down, which I guess technically they did, but
But they were trying to save the factory. They didn't
yeah,
really,
it ended up just being like them pitting toys against toys, like toys, not like war. Like I don't know how to explain this, but it was like the most silly, ridiculous war toys, like kids' toys, like antique toys that could kill, and it was kind of dumb. I thought that was where it kind of, to me, I was like, well, that's kind of silly. Like it didn't work for me. I think that's where, and that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of people could be against this movie for that reason, because I feel like that is the point where it did get ridiculous. But I also think it had a lot to do with Michael Gambon's character and how he completely went insane. Like the dude was nuts by the end
he
of this
dove
movie.
head first back into his adolescence.
Yeah.
But retained his violent adult nature.
Yeah. Where he loved war. He thought war was fantastic.
And Yeah, and the scene where he's like shooting the UN cars in the video game,
Oh yeah,
like
he
the
kept,
UN trucks, like, and he's like, "Oh, I almost hit a tank there. Why would I do that with all these UN trucks around?" And LL Cool J is like coming to realization that maybe his father isn't completely
nuts.
hinged.
Yeah. And LL Cool J did turn over to the good side of things, which is good.
Yeah, he's like, things are getting real weird over in the secret rooms.
So I guess and that was, oh yeah, because he had that weird machine in the water, like some kind of underwater thing.
Creature thing.
Beast.
And did you notice the reference that he made
Yes.
when he
I thought
tried
you
to...
were gonna pick up on that for sure.
Oh, I did. And you know what else I picked up on? How Homeboy said the wrong word.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he said, I wrote it down. He said bravada instead of barada. It's Klaatu Barada Nikto. But he was like, Klaatu Bravada Nikto. And I was like, that's why you died. You said the wrong phrase.
Oh, that's funny. No, he had a beast under there, but that was where LL Cool J's character kind of switched over because he realized this was serious. Like, he was basically Robin could have died because he was like, no, I want to see if this thing works. Like, when Robin was in the water, and
when he had his like Dr. Evil things, like it's like basically a shark with a laser on its head.
Yeah. But I also wanted to go back a little bit here, just to mention some people that were in this movie. Debbie Mazar, which was we've brought her up on the podcast before, but I don't think we've done. Has she been in a movie that we've done? I don't think so.
No, she's in like every. Wait, no. Yeah, she has. She was in Empire Records.
Oh yeah. She's in. Yep. She was.
She's also in like every Adam Sandler movie, right? She's like in a ton of Adam Sandler movies.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't really watch a lot of his movies, so I couldn't tell you.
Or no, or maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm pretty sure it's her. Oh, I'm probably thinking of somebody else. Oh,
well,
no,
Debbie Mazar is, for me, being a Madonna nerd, she was one of Madonna's best friends early on, like in the early 80s. And she did Madonna's makeup up until like, I think 87 or 88, somewhere around there. And they're still very good friends. They're still like, not this current birthday, but the birthday before quarantine. Her and Debbie Mazar were hanging out for Madonna's birthday.
How cute.
Yeah, they're still chumming it, yo. But I just love seeing her in anything because she's so freaking beautiful, and she has gorgeous eyes. She's fantastic. We have brought her up before. She was, I mean, if you don't know who she is, you would maybe know her from she was in the Batman Forever. Was it Batman Forever? With Two-Face, Tommy Lee Jones. She was Spice, like Sugar and Spice. She was Spice.
You think that's where people are going to know her from?
I don't know. People might have seen that crappy movie. I feel like everybody saw that because of Jim Carrey. Like, ugh.
I mean, I saw that movie, and I did not realize that she was in it.
I think that was the only thing I liked about the movie, but I was like, why isn't she in this more?
She's also in Space Truckers. She's in Space Truckers a lot more,
I didn't see that.
I don't think anybody's seen that.
No. Well,
She's
and like even what was it, the remake of House on Haunted Hill, not like the Haunting of Hill House situation, but like the one from the 90s with
Famke Janssen?
The what?
Isn't that how you say her name? Famke? She also plays Jean Grey in X-Men.
Maybe. It was the one with Jeffrey Rush.
Who is that?
Jeffrey Rush.
I only know superheroes.
Oh my god. Jeffrey Rush was he was a superhero. He was in the Mystery Men, wasn't he?
She's the best friend in Younger, the
what?
TV show with Hilary Duff. But
Who?
like Hilary Duff as an adult. Debbie Mazar.
Oh, I did not know this.
She's definitely in that show.
Oh, well, good for
She
her.
plays a lesbian.
Ooh, that's
I know,
fancy.
right? So
I like
interesting.
that.
They're everywhere now.
Debbie. Oh, Debbie. Anyway, whatever. In any case, I love her. Okay, can we pause? I mean, you don't have to actually pause, but pause. Because Jason left, and I'm afraid my mail is sitting out there, and I don't want people to steal it.
Okay, go get your mail.
Okay, I'll be back.
Okie dokie. Do 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 da 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 yeah 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 da 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 yeah 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 da 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 yeah yeah. That's Wham. You know, John, whenever you listen to this. Beautiful Wham song. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh. It wasn't there yet. Don't forget to clip this out. And I was like, oh my God, I have to go check. And I can't believe Jason decided this was the time to go and do something. When I have packages going out as well. And people have been stealing packages off of people's porches. So I was like, well, I don't want those to get stolen. And he was like, well, I can watch them because I'm going to be here. And then you go on a bike ride. Anyway, now I'm all winded. Okay, so Davey Mazar is fantastic. Then we, of course, LL Cool J we already talked about, but the military meal and the plate. That's one of my favorite things ever because I'm exactly the same way. I do not want my foods to touch. So when he said that,
you want your peas to be in quarantine.
I want quarantine peas. Like, I mean, I wouldn't eat peas, but but I don't like a Thanksgiving meal. Like, you've seen people load up their plate with food, like things are touching all the time. I'm not like that. Like, my plates, I'll go in for seconds eventually because I want them separated. I don't want my sweet potatoes to touch my mashed potatoes or anything to touch my biscuits. Don't even go there. Don't touch my biscuit.
How do you... So, I found that for this past Thanksgiving, I went back for more cranberry sauce for like the first time ever because I realized that the stuffing tastes way better when it's mixed with the cranberry sauce.
Oh, see, I don't like stuffing. I love the idea of stuffing, but it is soggy bread, and I cannot get over that. Like, I love the smell of it. When people are making it, it's so insane to me. Like, I want to eat that so bad, but then it's just mushy, and I hate it. Like, I need a crunch.
Croutons are just stale bread.
I need crunch. Like, I want that flavor, but I want it crunchy.
You can... I'll find you like a firm tofu.
We found... No, I don't want tofu.
Density. Not tofu, but like the texture. Not the texture, the density. Like that level of bounce, but still mushy.
I'm sorry. My cat stuck his head in the box and started meowing again. I don't know why.
He's got more secrets to confess.
He does. I'm telling you. So, no. But my sister ended up making randomly one year, she made this, what do we call it? I can't remember what we call it. Like cornbread stuffing. I can't remember what she called it, but it's basically like a almost like a bread pudding. Like it's cornbread stuff, but then it has like large chunks of a French baguette like ripped up and put into it, and then you bake it.
Okay.
So it kind of has like this, oh my God, it's delectable. It's one of the best things. It's my favorite thing. And every year when well, we didn't do this year because we're social distancing, so we didn't have Thanksgiving. But and I was mad about it too because I really wanted I really wanted it. But it's like she makes it and it's just perfection. I love it so much. I mean, I guess I could try to make it myself, but it's just better if somebody else makes it for me. Um, and it's even brilliant heated up later. Like it's one of those ones where it just works either way. It makes me so happy. Anyway, but yeah, that is fantastic, and it's basically what replaced stuffing for our family because nobody really wanted the stuffing because of the soggy bread situation. So we just stopped doing it, and that's basically what took over as the stuffing situation. And it's brilliant. Jamie Foxx is also in this movie.
Yes, he is. He's
And it's
one of
just
those security dudes.
little fun cameo situation.
I don't think it was a
Other,
cameo. It was his first role, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it
was
wasn't
like
really. Yeah, I guess it wasn't a cameo because he wasn't Jamie Foxx.
yeah. People didn't really know him then.
They thought, oh look, there's an attractive man in this movie. Um, but anyway, what else? What else was I going to say about this movie? I don't know. There's
Was
a
it
lot of.
about Yolanda and Steve?
I was. Yes, we had to bring up Yolanda and Steve because it's fantastic. So basically, Robin Williams, to get past security in this corridor, he steals a badge, but then they have to get past the security cameras. So they they decide to pretend like it's MTV on the little monitor for the
Yeah.
security people. So they have like the older guy, the Marbles guy, put the tag on there that said MTV, and then they made up a music video, which was what was it, Yolanda and
It was I think it was Yolanda and Steve, and then I liked the song.
no, the song is
It was the
fantastic.
two of them performing, like
Yeah.
actually performing the song, which I thought was great.
Yeah, it was Robin
And
Williams and Joan Cusack did the song.
yeah, it was very much a 90s music video. I liked that Robin Williams like kicked up the little tags
Yeah,
that do they
he
still do
did
that? But
the
do
little
they put
thing
the
where it
little
said like what it was.
yeah, like the artist, the song title, the studio,
I
and
love
the
that.
year, right?
Like he kicked it up and it was oh that was
Yeah.
fantastic. But it looked like but it felt like an 80s song, like kind of like I don't even know, almost
Like
Devo-esque.
when the days go by.
Yes, that
Yeah.
song, yeah. Um fantastic. Anyway, it's a very good song, but the music video and also a lot of the visuals in the film in general were inspired by Rene Magritte. Is that how you say his name? The artist?
The dude who did the
Magritte? Maybe it's
apple
Magritte. Yeah, it's Magritte.
hat thing. I don't know how to say his name.
I think it's Rene
I would
Magritte.
refer to you.
But yeah, he did. I can't remember the names of his paintings, but
It's
none of
the
his
one
paintings.
with the dude with the bowler hat with
The
the
bowler
apple.
hat with the apple. Everybody knows
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, it's
And
what
that was
the
spoofed in
toys
this movie
cover
too.
looks like.
Yeah. The eye, the big eye, that was literally one of his paintings.
Mhm.
They just animated it. But he was a big influence on the production in general for this film, and it looks
Yeah.
like his art. And Rene Magritte is, he's got a story. Good lord. Like you don't see faces in any of his paintings, and there was a reason for it. He I can't remember who it was. Somebody in his family committed suicide by drowning, and when he found them, it was like his mom or his sister or maybe his wife. I can't remember. I'm not good at those details. But anyway, when he found her, she had like a sheet wrapped around her head, and she was in the bathtub. And so if you ever see his paintings, like there's no faces, and he specifically does that. And there's
Oh.
one where it's like two people kissing, like, and they have sheets around their head. It's
Oh, that's a little sad.
yeah, very sad. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. That's just something I
Well,
read
then whatever.
once, and maybe it's not true anymore. I don't know. It was in a magazine. I don't know where any of these people went to high school. I don't know.
So
Sorry.
I want to talk about the I want to talk about the heist, their little heist situation. The music video, I loved the music video, but that music video was wildly unnecessary. They put up a mirror. They had it. They could have just carried on with their day. They didn't have to get marbles involved in
Okay.
this slapping up the
Ashley.
MTV thing.
Ashley, what would the point of that be? It's not
They
fun.
they could still sneak behind. They get into the room. I was like, oh, that what a great plan. Look at you being practical. Oh no. Here it is. Here it is. Like he had to make it weird.
But you had to. That was the best. In fact, up until
They could have done the music video at any time because we already knew that Leslie and Anastasia loved to sing in the bathroom and dance in the studio.
I mean,
They were
yeah,
always
it could have
performing
just been
together.
any,
They
but
could
I
have
liked,
done it at the Christmas
but
show.
I loved that it was like that was their way of getting past it. And to them, that probably made the most sense. Like, yeah, you're right. The mirror
Like,
situation reflecting
yeah,
the
I
hallway,
picture-
perfectly fine. But
I
it's not
picture
as
Joan
fun.
Rivers when they're at the table, like coming up with a game plan. They're like, how do we get past the guards? And like Joan Rivers is like, we distract them with a huge performance. And then like they started off with the mirror and like, that's how we disguise ourselves. And then they're like, yeah, let's keep moving forward with the huge performance part. like you had it. You had it
Oh,
right
come
there.
on. It was fun.
I enjoyed it. I'm not saying I
Yeah.
didn't enjoy it. That's my favorite part of the whole movie is the
Well,
music video.
I will say,
scene.
like as a kid, like when I saw this the first time, not a kid, I guess I was a teenager, but that was my favorite part of that. I mean, that's why I went and watched it again later because I was like, oh, that music video was so freaking cool. I love that. So I would just watch it over and over for that, and then eventually I actually liked the rest of the movie. I was like, oh, this is actually a very good movie. What is happening here? Which is really, I don't know. I guess this is kind of a movie where not everybody's gonna like this. That's for sure. Like I'm pretty sure my mom did not like this movie at all. It's one of the ones she didn't like. And especially I guess if you're a Robin Williams fan and you're watching all his movies and then all of a sudden this one comes up and you're like, what is this? What is happening here? What is this
No,
movie?
that's gonna happen. I
I mean, I think
be
you're
fine.
gonna
If
see
somebody's
that way
like,
before this one.
if
maybe.
somebody's just now getting into Robin Williams and like going through his repertoire, they're gonna be fine with toys, and they're gonna hit a weird bump in the road when they start hitting up 1 hour photo.
Or even What Dreams May Come, like
Oh yeah.
God, there's
Yeah,
so
when
much
dreams
going
may
on
come,
there.
they're like, oh, okay, that was funky. And then 1 hour photo is like, that was dark.
Dark, very very dark. Directed by Mark Romanek, or Romanek. No, it's Romanek.
the Philharmonics?
No, Mark Romanek. I always thought it was Romanek, and I liked that name Romanek, and then I realized it was pronounced Romanek, and I was like, I still like him. He directed a lot of iconic music videos that you would super recognize if you saw them. I would love to list some, but I'm blanking. En Vogue, he did Free Your Mind by En Vogue. 9 Inch Nails, Closer. Actually, he did a bunch of 9 Inch Nails. He did A Perfect Drug too, which is so fucking gorgeous. Madonna, he did Bedtime Story for Madonna. He did Bjork too. I'm trying to think of which
Love
one he did for
her.
Bjork.
I
Which one
love
did he do
Bjork.
for
I don't
Bjork?
ever think she's too much.
I fucking love Bjork. Are you
She's
being
just
funny?
doing
or...
her thing. No,
Oh.
no, I genuinely love Bjork.
No, I adore her. I adore her.
Like, she's fantastic.
Like I remember, I mean, everybody makes fun of Bjork because of certain things, and it's like if you're not in her world, like if you're not paying attention to what she's going through in her life, then most of the stuff just seems ridiculous. But like the swan dress, her friend made that dress and she loved it and she wanted to show it off and
That's right.
wear it proudly to an awards ceremony that she could care less if she was there or not. Like she probably went so she could wear the dress, and then everybody makes fun of her for it because she looked silly, but she thought she looked fantastic. And
I
she
love
did.
that dress.
Fuck everybody.
Yeah.
And she put it on
Wear
her
it.
fucking album cover later. Like, hello, it's my dress. Um, there was that, and then when she attacked that reporter or paparazzi person or whatever it was, like,
Mhm.
and everybody's like, oh my god, this woman's insane, and it's like, no, 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 no. And I would like to put this on a podcast right now. Is that person stalked her for months leading up to that. Like he would show up everywhere she was and try to take photographs of her children, and it was freaking her out. I mean, he was like hopping on airplanes to follow her, like internationally. Like it wasn't
Oh
just
goodness,
like,
that's so expensive.
it's expensive and it's insane. And so when she finally lost it and she just attacked him, like everybody thought she was crazy, but it's like, no, y'all, that person was nuts and she had every right to come up at him and do that because
Yeah.
he was violating her privacy horribly, including her children. Like, don't fuck with a mom's kids, motherfucker. It's not going to happen, especially if it's Bjork. Hello?
Yeah.
She's going to come at you, bitch. She's going to shank you. Good lord. Anyway, I fucking love her.
Yeah,
And I
she's
always
great.
support her. I support her. Even when she just everything, whatever. I don't care what it is. I love it. um yeah, so anyway, so that's all I had. I've exhausted my notes and I think I've exhausted everything I
The
know about this
only
movie.
the only other thing I want to bring up is Joan Cusack and why. Why is Joan Cusack never the leading lady? She is always nailing her role. She's in a whole bunch of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but she's never on the cover unless you count like because she's like Jessie in Toy Story 3, right? And Jessie has like a whole thing.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
Jessie's a little cowgirl? Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Outside of that, which I don't see Miss Joan Rivers Cusack's face on any cover. And I
Yeah.
like and I think I had that thought because when I started watching this, I was like, I had no idea she was in this movie. She is a major role. Why didn't I know this? Like, obviously, I knew Robin Williams was all up in it. He's on the cover twice. It's him and then him in his hat.
Is he in the hat?
He's in the hat, too. Yeah.
Oh,
The hat has a doorway, and in that doorway is another Robin Williams.
I don't think I ever. I mean, I know there was a hole in the hat, but I didn't realize that he was in the hat as well.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I
Yeah,
didn't.
and I'm just mad about it. Like,
No, I got it. I get you.
what's wrong? What's wrong with Joan Cusack?
I mean, she's
She's in so
fantastic.
many things.
I mean, even like what was it? It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas Movie, which I still think we should do at some point. Um,
Oh, yeah.
she's like the major character. I mean, she's the villain, but she's like the character that they're up against in that movie.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. I fucking love her.
Yeah,
I really do.
like,
Or Adam's Family Values. Hello, genius. The whole she's fantastic in that movie.
Shameless. She's in several seasons of Shameless as well.
Was she?
Yeah. Her and William H. Macy were boning down.
How did I miss that?
She was the agoraphobe. She wouldn't go outside. And
Maybe I was drunk.
this guy
I don't
for
know.
several seasons. Yeah, every time I see her, I'm like, oh my goodness, I had no
Oh,
idea
you
she
know
was gonna
what?
be in this.
I think I came into that. I don't think I saw all of it. I don't think I've seen it from season 1 on. I saw it from like a late season on.
Oh yeah, she's in the early seasons.
That's probably it.
Yeah, I'm
I
like, look at
never
you
went
go,
back
girl.
and watched the rest of them because I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
But then stuff like that comes up where they're like, John, she was a major character. And I'm like, well, I don't remember that because I didn't see it.
All right.
Um.
Well,
Anyway, yeah.
what would you rate this movie?
Oh God. Like eh, 8 toes.
Oh, that's a solid review. That's a solid toe count.
Yeah, 8 toes. I mean, I would give it more if it wasn't for the weird ending. Not weird ending, but the whole war toy thing just didn't go the way that I wanted it to.
Right on. Right
It
on.
was too
That's fair.
silly. But other than that, uh,
Yeah,
eight
I
toes. Yeah.
wanted things to get dark.
Yeah, I really did too. I kind of did. I wanted it to be like we've gotten this like
And then that's like the maturity.
the oversaturated toy thing through the whole movie. So for it to have gotten dark at some point, like where you don't get any of that, those brilliant sets, like the sets are gone, the toys are gone, and you have a completely different, the grown up part of it. Like, oh shit, we're not in this movie anymore. That would have been
Yeah,
a
yeah,
very
and
interesting
like
way to finish the film.
Robin Williams, Robin Wright, and Joan all have to be like, oh, like this is grown up stuff.
Like we actually have to save these people that he's about to
Yeah.
murder, or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
something like that.
and
Like
and then when we like rehire them, we're gonna have to figure out the W-2s and I-9 stuff because we're not gonna have grown-ups around. Like we have to be the grown-ups.
ew, the paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to hire like an accountant.
Well, Robin worked in the photocopy, so
He can work customer service roles. Yeah.
anyway, what would you give
So
it?
I think 6.5. And I still
Cool,
think that that's good. I still enjoyed it.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, I've given things 3 toes and still loved it.
that's true. That's true. That's true. I just
Yeah,
think
well-
I think out of I think it was a very serious cinematic effort, but I think that the subject matter was so juvenile that I think that's why this caused such a
Yeah, there were bits where it dipped.
yeah, because cinematically, like if you're going to look at this literally just cinematically, like let's say, and in fact this is a good thing to think about, if Stanley Kubrick had made this film,
This guy.
you would have taken it way more seriously, but he also would have had that thing that we're missing from this movie, the thing that we just talked about. Like he would have
Yeah.
taken it to a place that would have made sense for an adult to enjoy this thing that he created. And I think that was maybe because it doesn't work as a kids movie. It's not a kids movie at all.
Oh, I didn't think it was supposed to be.
No. Well, and I think that's the problem with it. I think that might be the issue. Is like people see this and they're like, "Well, this is a kids movie," but then it's like, "Yeah, no, it's not. Don't let your kids watch that." Like,
Yeah, there's not a lot of people. You know what? Yeah, because there's not a lot of people raining on his parade.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning, his dad was like, I hope he matures a bit, but not many people were like, Leslie, take this seriously.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. I think Stanley could have done something interesting with that, or even
Maybe.
Fellini. Fellini's. I mean, it feels Fellini-esque a lot of the time, but Fellini also had a very, very, very good way of taking that fantasy that you're having and making you realize, oh shit, this is real. Like we're
Yeah.
not just looking at something that
I don't know
looks
why, but that made me
fun.
think of Christopher Nolan.
Well, yeah,
Where
he could. Yeah,
He like Inception or Interstellar. He did Interstellar, right? Where it's like fantastic and then it like becomes like fantastical and becomes like this is like real though, you know? You
I
have
didn't
to
see
like
that.
face the reality of things or even Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. Yeah, I mean that is a good. Christopher Nolan is a good. Yeah, same thing. I mean, he takes a very like a concept that is fun, but he finds a way to make it work for an adult audience. Like it is
Yeah,
still
and they're
fun.
also very big and this is a big movie, like
Yeah,
big sets.
this is definitely a big movie, and I think it was a big issue that that it didn't work quite well. I mean, I
Yeah.
still like. I'm not gonna say anything too negative
What would
because I
you
think it's fantastic.
What would you recommend?
Oh, I should have known that was coming.
Yeah, what's your problem?
What's your problem? What what movie would you recommend?
Small Soldiers.
Oh, I never saw that.
You never saw it?
No,
It's, what's her name? Kristen Dunst
had no idea
and
she
some
was in
boy.
that. You know what I'm gonna recommend? I'm gonna recommend a Tank Girl.
Okay.
Yeah, because that one, I feel like Tank Girl kind of did the same thing that this one did. It was juvenile, but trying to be serious, and it never quite worked. But it's still a fantastic, fun movie. So that's mine. That's my suggestion.
Okay.
My
Right on.
recommend.
Well, Small Soldiers is toys that are created like by a military folk, and they've got like these little microchips in them, so they're sentient and they're designed for war, and so they create a war between like the two groups of toys. So there's like an army set of toys, and then there's like a monster set, and they like go to battle, but
Huh.
it bleeds into the real world.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What a fun little thing.
Well
All right, so what are we watching next week? Oh wait, it's my pick. I guess I should be the one.
I mean, I could tell them too because I know what it is.
Yeah, you tell them, John.
We are watching Anna and the Apocalypse.
2017.
Thank you, because I did not know that. Yeah, so join us next week for that. And in between those times of listening,
Yeah.
whip out your devices and go to our social medias. We got One Foot Podcast Instagram, One Foot Podcast Twitter, One Foot Podcast at gmail.com for questions, concerns, or recommendations. And we've got One Foot on the Ground on the Facebooks.
That's right, we do. Until next time.
Oh, and rate, review,
subscribe and review.
subscribe. Yeah, so do those things. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Totals.
Like a toy winding down.